Welcome back to the DRL, everybody. Today we have Jeff versus Consta, I believe, if I'm seeing that right. It is a number 15 in qualifiers versus the 20th in qualifiers, which is very close. I can imagine this being a pretty good game. Any thoughts on either of these players, Mitch? I'm not incredibly familiar with them myself.
I'm not too familiar with either of them either, but I can tell you that Jeff did get an 83 on the 7th seed, which is a very, very high score.
That's good.
That is basically tied for 4th highest that anyone has ever gotten. Beats out a lot of players even that did rank higher than him in the qualifiers. And honestly, the only reason his qualification was so low was because he did have a lot of early deaths in a lot of his seeds. So I would expect he can put up some very, very strong, very big numbers. But the worry is going to be making sure not to die early especially, but making sure not to die even in the mid or late game and locking himself out of more score. Whereas Consta was a little more consistent, didn't have as many early deaths, but really did not have those same highs. Had a high of only 76 from the qualifiers. So will maybe be a little behind on the pace. So it seems more like somebody who's a little faster, but prone to possible deaths, versus someone who's more consistent, but a little bit slower, is the type of matchup I'm expecting.
Interesting. So very different play styles today, right? And and we'll be seeing how much the risky really pays off. Risky obviously comes with some potential downfalls. We're gonna see if that's going to be relevant here. Hopefully not. I'm hoping for a good game for them. Just immediately, it doesn't look like any of these weapons or builds are something that we are typically used to using. A big axe is pretty nice. I'm not sure what Jeff's weapon here is. Mitch, do you recognize? It seems like a sword.
It's just a sword, but the main thing is the second weapon for that class is the Claymore, which is a great sword, which can be solid if you find a second great sword for a jumping build.
Right.
Honestly, using it on its own is fine, but yeah. Solid weapon, not S tier for sure.
So I'm just gonna open my Diet Coke real quick. Oh, actually, I don't know if we have any mods here. David, you're here. Can you make a prediction? Alright, chat, get ready for some ASMR. Hey, that's pretty satisfying, huh?
That's pretty nice.
Man, a cold Diet Coke, and my room is so hot. I left my computers on last night, so I woke up today, and it's really sunny outside, and my curtains don't cover the whole windows. So I entered my room, and it was burning hot. It was on fire. I'm so tired of this tiny hot room. Oh, you guys are on phones. Okay, I'll do the prediction. I'll make it a 15-minute prediction. The aggressive player, according to the stats, what we think is probably Jeff. And then Consta seems like a more consistent player. So we have here Jeff QED versus Consta _ Sama. And go ahead and get those dollar bills in. They are pretty equal in qualifying rank, yeah. But also, I always forget to do this now that we've done it a few times, but if there is anyone who's just watching this for the first time, who's just coming in, this is Forsa's Deathless Randomizer League, where the goal is to kill as many bosses as you can without dying. And so you'll see here it says their scores and their deaths. So obviously deaths is how many times they've died, but the score is 1 boss equals 1 point. There's not different values of bosses or anything like that. And all enemies are randomized, all items are randomized, including key items, which will be dropping from other key item locations, like a boss drop, for example. And if they will be spawning in with a little care package with some seals and some staves, which they will usually use for upgrading their weapon, because we do have auto upgrade, and those are the cheapest. We'll be getting some armor in there, some talismans, stuff like that. And if they do want another weapon, they're just gonna have to find one. Oh, it's the gargoyle halberd. It wasn't just a big axe. It was a halberd. That's a pretty decent weapon. Yeah.
that is a solid one for sure.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
might
yeah.
still go with that Vagabond start, specifically because it's got the best general starting stats. So whatever weapon you end up finding, you end up, swapping to, you're going to have the best set of stats with Vagabond. It's got a lot of vigor, which of course you want to live. It's got decent endurance, so you can wear some heavy-ish armor. And then it's just got a bunch of strength and dex. And it's got really low stats in all the ones you don't want. Doesn't have a lot of int, faith, or arcane, which can take up some of that stat room from your starting class. So, but yeah, it looks like we might have a different start here. We might have the Vagabond versus the Prisoner. Prisoner with not bad starting stats, but just way too much int for what you would normally want. It's kind of wasted stats that can artificially inflate your level and make it harder to level up further from there because you are already at a high level, so levels cost more.
Right, that is an interesting point. Yeah, that it artificially inflates your level, which will make it harder to level more. But we will be going those different classes, and yeah, high intelligence on there, which is kind of unnecessary, but I don't know if it'll make a huge difference right now. Yeah, the vigor is definitely a little bit significant at the start, but I don't know if the levels will really make a massive difference here. We'll see.
Yeah, it really will depend. If both of them find a better weapon early, then Vagabond, has a solid advantage there. But if neither of them finds a solid weapon early, then that Gargoyle Halberd is pretty good. Personally, I'm kind of a fan of the Claymore. I would go with the Vagabond. I do like greatswords, but, both I think are very solid starting options that can do well.
We are about to get started, and Consta is logging in to something with his Twitch account. I hope he won't dox himself. I get extremely nervous seeing someone screen share. Oh, he's doing channel point rewards. Oh my god, is he gonna speak in a Quebec voice? That is such an insane channel point reward. All right, anyway, we are about 1 minute off, and oh yeah, the other thing to note is when they get spawned in, they will have access to 4 different graces. So 2 of them are default, 1 in Limgrave and 1 in Liurnia, and then you're gonna have 2 more that are going to be completely random. They might be DLC ones, they might be underground ones, they might be just wherever. It could be anywhere in the game. And sometimes it's a really useful grace that you can unlock, like an Altus grace or something. And sometimes it's completely useless, like a DLC one that they don't typically want to go for because it's easy to die, because you don't have any Skidoo fragments, or whatever the case may be. So we're going to keep that in mind. Those are going to be up there in the top right corner, because I get asked that a lot. What does that mean in the top right corner? And that's what that means. So all right. Don't forget, we have 10 minutes for the predictions to close. If anyone has any predictions on who's your fave. And we are off.
We're off. Hopefully no one dies in the first 10 minutes. That prediction would be very...
Oh my god, that would. But imagine if then the other
unhelpful.
person died and then it just like baited us twice. Oh yeah, the other thing to note is they do get enough money. I actually haven't been saying this. I forgot about this. They get enough money to level to 30 levels. So that's what this is. The money cannot be used for anything else. But yeah, they are going to use that to level whatever they would like to level. Mitch, how do we feel about these graces?
Let's see here. We've got Skidoo Altus, DLC, and Snowfield. Oh, that's pretty late. That's very spread out. I'm not feeling great about those graces. I'm thinking they probably are not going to use either of them even a little bit. So we're probably just sticking with the default ones.
Those are 2 pretty bad ones. Skidoo Altus, I've heard some players say that it's pretty good for like Dane. If you need one more boss to get, you can get Dane, I guess. But also, I haven't seen anyone actually do that yet, so I don't know how realistic that is. So yeah, we'll probably not see them access these graces at all.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. I do love to see the mix-up of having some new graces, but honestly, it's... Oh.
What just happened?
Yeah, that's a fall damage death, because that has actually happened to Aggie as well in, I don't remember if it was a practice or a qualifier seed. Yeah, that specific jump, if you land wrong, or if you don't like walk on the exact right spot of that sloped like fallen pillar, you don't count as walking on it, and it thinks you dropped from all the way up above all the way down onto the ground, and so you just die.
Well, did his game crash after? Like, it's not gonna count the death then?
We can adjust it, but
there it is.
Yeah,
there it is.
yeah.
Oh,
When he loads back in,
no.
I think he manually closed the game out of some sort of habit, out of some sort of, oh my god, panic. I think, I'm not 100% sure. It might have crashed, but I see that more often with usually people like on purpose doing that. But yeah, score locked at 0, so he has to hope that Consta dies at some point, and then his score will get unlocked.
Mitch, okay, that was the biggest caster curse I've ever seen in my life. That was actually a little rude, Mitch. I don't think I've ever seen a more serious case of caster curse. Like, that was incredibly unlikely for someone to die in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'll take responsibility for this, but that one particular like movement option is something that I have seen a lot of players die to going for, so it is really risky. I mean, we said that Jeff was going to be the riskier player, but I did not think it was going to come into play this early, because that's that's wild.
Is that something that the players who do that are aware of? Does that just happen sometimes?
I would think so, because it does happen a reasonable amount of the time. I mean, if you walk the exact same way, it will never happen. But if you walk even a little bit different, where you don't land on very specific spots, you will always die. So it's something that, you know, it depends on how much practice he did. It depends on how much he looked at others and their routes and what they did. But it's something that I have seen enough that, you know, I, as a non-competitor, was aware of the possibility of it. So I don't know. He may have known and just risked it anyway, or he may have never seen it in practice. This is the first time he saw it, and it just kind of snuck up on him.
Oh my god, if that's the first time he's ever seen that, I would be really bummed for him.
Yeah.
Oh no. So, for those wondering what happens now, the way this works is if you die, I was gonna explain this, I didn't think I'd have to explain it this early, but if you die, the way that this league is built, though it is a Deathless League, the way that we actually keep it entertaining and the way the league is actually a proper league and not just like a 1 second long match is he actually does have a chance to come back only if Consta also dies. So for now, his death will lock his score at whatever it was at the time of death, which is 0. However, he will keep playing and he's gonna have a current score that's gonna be going up. And if Consta dies once and their scores are even, and their deaths are even, I mean, then Jeff's score will be unlocked to whatever it currently is. So, despite that death, and I know it's probably very annoying for him, and he's probably kind of, like this is what we were talking about before, like, mentally, this is so difficult. He has to keep playing, and because just in case Consta dies, then he's back in the game, so he has to keep playing. Unless he dies twice, and Consta doesn't die twice, like, the deaths have to be even for the scores to be unlocked.
Yeah, each death locks you at that specific, like, tier that you were at of score. So if, for example, Jeff got 10 more bosses than died a second time, he would basically have 2 locks on his score. 1 at 0 and 1 at 10. And then if Consta died once, his first lock would go, and then he'd be at 10. And then if Consta died a second time, then that second lock would go away, and he'd have his full score.
So it's obviously not over yet. They are unaware of each other's progress. Consta does not know that Jeff died, because, for example, if he did know that, then Consta could just sit here. Well, no, he'd have to kill one boss, I guess.
He'd have to kill one boss, the match would be over, we'd all say, hooray, we all locked in for 2 hours, but we're here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no point of that. They're both just, there's no spoilers, they're not reading chats, they're just playing as just to their best. I don't know where he found Starfist. Did anyone catch that? This is pretty important news, but we were busy focusing on that crazy death.
It seems the
Oh,
only
they
thing
both
he's
got
really
it.
done so far, yeah, is in Liurnia. They probably both got it from the graveyard, if I had to take a guess here. That one graveyard in Liurnia is just such value to check early that I think both of them did and found it.
Yeah, maybe also a shop, but yeah, either one of those two. But they both have it at this point, so that's a great weapon. Starfist, if anyone's unfamiliar somehow, Starfist, maybe the GOAT weapon, arguably. It is very, very strong.
It's up there for sure. Yeah, the reason it's so strong, it is a fist weapon, so it has very fast attacks. In particular, its tap R2 and charged R2 are very, very fast. But also, it has a huge stagger value. It has the stagger value basically of something like a colossal weapon, but at the speed of something like, I don't know, a straight sword or something like that. So you can get really, really fast staggers. Starfist also has bleed on it, so anything that's weak to bleed, you can easily bleed with it as well. The only giant downside of it is the range is terrible. You have to stand right up next to enemies, and some enemies, sometimes you just can't hit them because the hitbox is too small. I'm thinking like Erdtree avatars, you just can't hit from the front. Yeah, you have to walk around behind them to hit because it just misses. So incredible weapon, but with a downside and a tiny bit risky because you might be like, oh, this next hit is gonna stagger. I'll send it, and then you miss, and then you get hit for it. So it can be a tiny bit risky, but I expect both players will have a lot of familiarity with it. Oh my god, Melania on screen already.
We do have a Melania.
For Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the tap R2s on this are pretty good against her, but not like perfect. They can usually get her and stagger her, but you have to be careful. He's got the waterfall dodge pretty nicely though. That's pretty good. Almost got her first phase down. In Randomizer, you do have to deal with both phases of her. So even once he gets this down, he's got to go through. And he really wants to avoid getting hit, not only for big damage, but also for the lifesteal. You don't want to let her lifesteal.
He obviously knows this fight really well. I do wonder if he is going to be playing a little riskier than he originally intended to, just because now he's got a death, and I don't know. It's just hard. I don't know. I feel like just naturally you would be just playing a little bit more risky, a little carelessly, just because of that. But I don't know. These players are obviously experienced in this format. I'm sure that they're not quite going through that. I don't know.
I'd say there's two minds. You can either play a lot riskier to try to like make it up, or you could play a lot safer because you're shook. You're like, oh no, now I really don't want that to happen again, so I'm gonna play differently. Either way, usually doesn't go to a player's benefit. You usually want to play exactly as risky as you feel comfortable playing, and playing any more risky than that, you know, gets you outside of your comfort zone, and playing any less risky than that is going to get you outside of your comfort zone. So we hope that he can just bounce back and play as he always does, lock back in, but it is really hard. Like, mentally, that's the hardest thing to do.
Starfists were in this shop right here. I just saw it down there for 400 runes. It's a steal. But yeah, getting
they are
Millennia
light,
that
so
early
they're
is great.
super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Melania, luckily low scaled, so he wasn't really in danger of dying unless he, like, I don't know, got caught by the full waterfowl or something. Or rotted. Rot does, you know, a ton of damage, but he did get rotted, but only at the very, very end where he was able to warp out before it did anything.
I feel like I should make a clip of that death.
That could be a good idea.
But people are going to be asking. Maybe I should. Mitch, can you keep him company while I do this?
Absolutely. Jeff here with Starscourge Radon at the Tree Sentinel spot. Another boss on a horse. And another one that Starfist can miss on. You mostly want to be hitting Leonard instead of Radon because it's just easier to hit. And easy kill there. Very nice. The score now already a tiny bit in Consta's favor, 3-2. Partially because of that early death, but also he's just taken a few different boss choices. Whereas Jeff found these really long bosses to start. Consta found some easier, faster ones. So So I expect that score is not going to stay too different for too long.
God, I just watched the death again. It's like so bad.
Yeah, it really is dropping 5 feet and then just dying and going, what?
Classic Elden Ring, by the way.
Classic Elden Ring. Yep.
God.
All right, Consta has now also found Radon with Starfist. We'll see if he has any trouble actually getting the hits in. Nope, still just punishing Leonard. Oh, there's a miss. I knew it happened at some point. There we go. Nice kill.
All right, chat.
Yeah, to reiterate what happens on a death, the player's score is locked at the amount that they were when they died, and they can continue to kill bosses, but their score won't actually increase to the number of bosses they've killed unless their opponent dies to unlock their score. So if Consta died at any point between now and the end of the match, then Jeff's score would become unlocked and it would be like he never died. Ooh, Hippo here from Jeff's side. A DLC boss, honestly one that's not so bad for DLC bosses. There's definitely a lot harder you can find, but one that you could miss with these balls if you don't stay close enough. He's doing a really good job of hitting. One miss there. And on the other side, Crystallion, which should go down really, really fast to strike damage. Oh, and very nice. Gets the stagger on Hippo, so an easy kill for Jeff. And Consta has turned this 2v1 into a 1v1. Easy kill again. Does get rotted at the end, but he's just about to warp away, so it doesn't matter.
He has just about caught up on scores. Like, not quite yet, but almost. So if Consta does end up dying, Jeff is already caught up, despite losing some time to that.
Yeah, this is exactly what we kind of talked about before the match, that Jeff plays a little riskier, but is faster on average, whereas Consta plays a little safer, you know, isn't as likely to die, but isn't quite as fast. So Consta, if this works out for him where he just plays his normal game of playing safe, like, that's a huge advantage in something like this. It really... I didn't expect it to come out so literally out of the gate, but it's exactly the play styles that we were talking about from before the match.
That is true. That is very true. These Starfists are so good. I wonder if there's a world where they'll be... can you put something else, a different status on these guys, or is that just Night Rain mixing in my brain?
You can absolutely with the whetstones, as long as you get an Ash of War that can be applied to them.
Yeah.
It is somewhat common to make them cold Starfist.
Right.
But it's also not super necessary, especially these early bosses. Cold might not even have time to proc, so it might not be super worth it. But also, the Frost affinity is actually a pretty good, well-scaled affinity. It splits some of your damage into magic, but at a solid rate. So a lot of affinities will take away a lot of your physical stat to give you some elemental. And the Frost one still takes away some of your physical stat, but not that much. And it does give you a good amount of magic. So it's a solid affinity no matter how you look at it, but sometimes worth it, sometimes not. Really depends. Ooh, I think this is the snail that we see from Jeff's side. Yeah, it's got the white blood every time he's hitting it. So even though right now it's just Godskin Apostle, a noble is going to pop out after that he also has to kill to get credit for this.
Very fast fight, though. I mean, it's not over, but it's been very fast so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cold affinity would make it scale with int as well, but the base damage of it is pretty good if you have low stats. I would expect cold you almost never see when they've got high stats. They'd rather go for a heavy scaling so that they can get even more out of their strength. But at low stats, frost is pretty solid. Ooh, almost got the kill on Noble before that phase transition. Oh, nice. Stops him from rolling. That could have been big time loss if he had started rolling away. He needs to kill the snail, too. He's running away a little too early.
Nice,
yeah, he goes back for it. There we go. He remembered. Frost damage does not scale with int. Frost is a set amount based on just how it goes. And both the damage of Frost is fixed as well as the buildup of Frost is fixed. The only thing that would scale with int if you set it to the Frost affinity is the magic damage portion of the split damage.
Nice, super fast. I love these star fists.
They're so good.
Yeah, I just killed the fly for the hell of it. Oh, he's waiting. He's waiting.
I mean, you're waiting. You're waiting for the noble, so you might as well.
I forgot. I was like, yeah, okay. But yeah, I mean, a little surprisingly, I because of the death, I didn't really quite see the exact start of the match, but Jeff has, I mean, Consta soon to get 6 or 7 bosses, but Jeff has mostly
You shouldn't have said it that way. You should not have said it that way, Parky.
Whatever, bro. That's like the most common number duo ever, and we all learned that after that became a meme.
Yeah.
So again, if Consta does die, then the match is still pretty even. We're getting some the bird slut armor for some stronger jump attacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, excellent armor set. It's honestly just like not bad in armor either. It's not like you're sacrificing a lot to get that jump damage, so you might as well put it on. Even though Starfist is not really a jump attack weapon, there are some situations where you do a jump attack. Interestingly enough, if you do a jump attack with the Starfist, it can sometimes double hit, where it will do double the damage, but also cost you double the stamina. So that can either be really good for a fast kill, I got double the damage, or it can get you killed because you expect to do a jump attack then roll after, and you just don't have the stamina to roll. So sometimes it's awesome, sometimes it gets you killed.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't really know that.
Mm-hmm. I think it can happen with any fist weapon. I think it can actually even happen with non-fist weapons as well. It's just fist weapons is the most common one that I see it on.
I wonder if we'll be seeing any early Dragon Bears. I mean, at this point, it's still a bit too early. But we didn't see that at all last game. So I am curious about that, and I'm curious if... maybe we are.
Looks like it from Jeff. He is very strong with these iron balls right now, so it's not a bad time to go for it. He honestly also has a lot of health. Like, if you're going to do it at any point, he's kind of strong enough right now. I don't think this is a bad play. It gets you a ton of early runes, and those early runes can just accelerate to you killing everything faster. Ooh, ADM, though, is really rough. The one thing that I do not like iron balls for is fighting NPCs, and neither does Jeff. He is just running away here. Yeah, that's not something you want to see.
Yo, I think his moves would one-shot him at this point. Or, like, close to
I would
it.
say at least the, like, jump in the air dragon slash, Dragon Wound Slash, I think is what it's called. That one will one-shot. It one-shots DLC players that, like, have, you know, maxed out health and all this and skidoo. You just get one-shot by that move. So very, very scary for this.
So Jeff isn't playing insanely risky after his one death. He is still making smart choices, which I absolutely respect.
Yeah, sees a tree spirit. Pretty easy one to fight and kill hitless, but does do a lot of damage, so he does have to be very, very careful, not get greedy, not take it too risky, because I think it's possible that some moves could one-shot him. He should bring it down pretty quickly, which we can see he is, although a couple of those classic Starfist misses. But already has it almost down to half health. Has to be careful of the explosion soon, the phase transition.
Oh, he fell.
He fell.
Ooh,
all right, nice move to see.
Punish here, yeah.
Yeah, that breath is just so nice to just walk under and just keep hitting him. Here comes the explosion. He's going to ride away from it. Ooh, which is scary. Okay, he didn't get one shot, which is good. I was really scared that Torrent would get one shot and then he'd get dumped onto the ground and then be just locked in place and have nothing to do. But luckily, Torrent survived as well. So he is fine here. Should be able to clean it up. Just needs maybe 1 or 2 more hits to stagger.
Nice,
Boom, there's the
big.
stagger. Gets a bleed proc as well. That's why Starfists are so good. Yeah, that should clean it up.
This is a really great fight
another
for
miss.
him. It's gonna give him a lot of
Yep.
money and set him up really well for the rest of the game. And
Mhm.
it didn't even take him that long.
Yeah, honestly, that was a relatively efficient boss kill. And the Academy Glintstone key. That lets him get a little bit more efficient pathing to go through Liurnia to get to the other side. You can enter the Academy and exit out the back gate, and that kind of just teleports you further closer to the Dectus lift, or honestly also closer to Makar if you're going that way.
Yeah, hopefully we're not gonna have to see Makar. We just saw it in the previous game, and it honestly wasn't so bad. But they got really lucky, I think, with really good enemy spawns there. Though it's still a nuisance to walk through it all, but no idea where that Dectus medallion was.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Tom has pointed out that Frost would help a lot for going for these really high-scaled bosses early because Frost is percentage of maximum health. So as I mentioned, Frost is solid on the regular damage, and then if you also get those Frost procs, it's really, really powerful. What I was saying of it not necessarily being that helpful is for things more like what Consta is doing, where he's fighting these really early bosses that he can kill in like 3 hits. That's just not enough time for Frost to proc, but in Dragon Barrow, Frost would be very, very solid.
Yeah, a Frost bleed duo.
Getting really low with the Black Knife Assassin, though. Okay, he
You know
makes it
what?
away. He's able to heal.
This is one of those bosses that if she gets you and you start backing off and healing and they start punish your healing and all that, it just gets so out of hand. But it looks like he got back into it.
Yeah, the main thing is this one is Electo, so she does these like special,
Good
you know,
backstab.
almost waterfowl type, not exactly waterfowl, more like Malekith type big explosions of tons of hitboxes. And if you get caught in that, it can like combo you full to death sometimes. So he just really, really is being careful of that, is playing it way safer, I think, than he would for a normal Black Knife Assassin, just because he does not want to get wombo comboed. Ooh, does take some bad trades here with the Assassin, though. Keeps getting down to half health and is completely out of heals. So he needs to play this very safe from now. Oh, he's down to a quarter.
You're one shot,
He might just
Jeff.
run. He's gonna
Yeah.
run. Oh, he has to be careful though because of the blade. No, that's a second death. No. Oh,
Oh no. I
that's
feel like
brutal.
that it looked like it was kind of just like a little bit nerves, a little bit, okay, let me get out of here. Okay, I forgot that she actually has that punish.
Yeah, she hard punishes running away on Torrent. It's really unfortunate. I think we've all been caught with it so many times where you just don't realize, but this is just the format where it punishes you the most. He's now double locked at a score of 0 and a score of 7. So Consta has to die once to unlock that first one, and then twice in order for Jeff to have any chance in this match, because Consta is still ahead in score. All Consta has to do is not die twice.
Oh my God,
He just
he's
has to
gonna
not
so
be a
tanky.
shadow from Sekiro.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh god, he's so tanky. Yeah, that's really a bummer. I feel like, you know, like, Chad, this is the thing though with early Dragon Barrow and playing aggressively and playing with risks. Like, this is the risk. This is the risk. They do a lot of damage to you, and if you get kind of a little bit difficult bosses, which they are, then that will just happen. So, you know, sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. And unfortunately here it didn't really pay off for him. And that's just how it goes.
That is just how it goes. He is now fighting Midra, another, you know, pretty tough boss, but one that is very consistent. I really, really like Midra because even though he has high health, you know, high damage. You can very consistently avoid his moves. And so I actually like fighting him early, but part of that is just the fun of it, not necessarily it being optimal or something like that, because he is still a very, very slow, long fight with all the health that he has.
Meanwhile, Consta is kind of just cruising. He's got a really nice, consistent pathing situation going on here where he's fighting really low-scaled, easy bosses and making quick work of them all. Just doesn't really seem like there's much to worry about on his end there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just vibing. He's just taking his time, doing his normal thing, which I think you know is a solid play in the Deathless Randomizer League. It might not get you, you know, the win overall in the entire tournament, but it can take you very far. Just not dying is just so powerful in a format like this, in something where people can just die. You know, you're trying to risk, you're trying to go fast, so not dying is, you know, exactly what this league was built for. Not dying, being deathless.
Right. And yeah, I see some people not sure about the strat of going to Dragon Barrow. No, people do it. It's honestly like at least 50% of players I've seen, or more, maybe sometimes, do Dragon Barrow early. It's a good strat if the bosses there are doable, you know. It really can give you a great lead because you're just so much stronger. And if you are missing any money for a maxed out weapon, that'll give you the money for a maxed out weapon, which will put you so far ahead. So it does depend on how confident you're feeling, the bosses that you see there, what level you're currently at. So it's not crazy that Jeff decided to do that. It's not crazy and it's not uncommon. It just
the last match that the both of us commentated together, Hoosier versus Aggie, both of them did a pretty early Dragon Barrow. Hoosier did it a little earlier than Aggie, but both ended up going there within the first 20 or 30 bosses. So Jeff went, you know, a little earlier than some do, but honestly, he justified it by, I've got a great weapon, it's well upgraded, and he already, like, look at that health bar. He already has a massive health bar, so it was a good call, just, you know, unfortunate that he took too many trades with the Black Knife Assassin that got him too low, and then if you're low and you try to run away on Torrent, it kind of just doesn't work. You almost have to run away on foot because otherwise she's just going to snipe you. That long range move that she has, she will spam it if you are on Torrent. She will not let you get away.
That's something new that I learned during the commentary of this league. Very interesting that she just like constantly targets Torrent.
Yeah, I guess that's why they're assassins. They're made for making sure you do not get away.
Honestly,
Via's
though,
champs.
Electo can absolutely be hard. The first time I fought her, it was very difficult, and the only way that I do fight her now is just backstab, cheesing her. But that will take forever, so you don't really want to be playing like that. Also,
yeah, definitely
close to death here.
Ooh, yeah, the Crucible Knight and Misbegotten duo. Oh, if that heal had not gone off before the hit, that might have been it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is not low scaled. This is like mid-scaled Kaled. So it's not high-scaled Dragon Barrow, but you do really have to be careful here.
And
looks like he's kind of locked in on the 1v1 here.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, Fia's champs, usually one of the scariest, gets low. That's why you can get so much damage done by that Fia's champion. Luckily, none of the other champs were alive to combo into it, but I mean, that was just so scary again. Oh my god, and blood loss from the imp. No way an imp brings him down. Okay. Oh, Torrent dying. Jeff is not having a fun day here. This has been, oh my gosh. Oh.
Bro, and look at him, he's laughing. I feel like he is also like, what the hell is going on here? What the hell? I feel like, listen, the second death, the Electo death, a little bit more of an actual his fault thing, though it does suck and it's very understandable. But the first death, come on, the first death, that sucks so bad. That was 100% a stupid fake death. And if he had died to this imp, that would just be so unlucky. Oh god. See,
Yeah,
the
those
mental
fall
to have to
deaths.
play for this much longer now too is just like, it's so difficult.
Yeah, 2 full hours when you know you've got 2 deaths, and if he's scouted out his opponent, he know his opponent is a very, very consistent player.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough mentally, but I do still think he can end up with a higher total score by the end due to some of these risky plays. It's
Yeah.
just, you know, he just has to hope for his opponent to die twice, which isn't super likely.
Yeah, so what we mean by this is despite Jeff having died and losing a little bit of time twice, he is doing some really risky plays that are very rewarding due to the amount of money you can get and the amount of levels you can get and just like getting these harder, higher skilled bosses out of the pool early. And so it'll get him a really great score. However, just a reminder, the only way that Jeff's current score, as it says here, can get back relevant is if Consta dies the same amount of times as Jeff. He has to die twice for his score of 0 to be unlocked back to his current score. So Jeff is currently obviously locked at a score of 0, but if Consta dies twice, then we will see Jeff back in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically each death is a specific lock on your score at the score you were at when you died. So Jeff currently has 2 locks, one at a score of 0, one at a score of 7. If Consta dies once, the first lock will go away and Jeff's score will instantly jump up to 7. And then if Consta dies a second time, then both locks would be gone and Jeff would jump all the way up to his current score of 11. And it would be like he never died. And this is a really tough seed, so it is possible to have 2 deaths from Consta's side. But it's just, you know, he's been a consistent player. He's been a player that avoids taking those risks and dying. So, you know, it would be very uncharacteristic for Consta to die twice here, but not unheard of, not impossible.
He is playing very consistently and very clean.
Mm-hmm.
A dancer of Rana dressed as that Corin guy.
That is a pretty funny outfit. Oh, he's doing a good job of not letting the dancer heal.
Yeah.
Might get a quick kill here. Oh, nah,
bummer.
Unfortunate.
Dancer sucks.
I hate dancer.
Nice.
But a very nice kill. Does manage to get a lot of the charged R2s in, which can be hard to get on NPCs. A lot of times with Iron Balls, you'll go for tap R1s instead to try to sort of stagger lock NPCs, but it is a little bit less damage, so him being able to get that is nice. Ooh, I saw a Sunflower that is bought on Consta's side. The Sunflower, which is a very fun weapon, big old colossal that you can bonk things with. It's got holy damage split. Oh, and now he's got 2 halberds for the jump attack meta. I actually don't know if this is going to be better than Iron Balls, but it is very consistent, very easy to pull off, and it's got great range, so he doesn't have to worry about missing as much.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of swapping back and forth. Yeah. I kind of like that. And now, since they do have the Gravebird armor, that does make jump attacks even better here. So I can totally see the vision in doing jump attacks mainly, and then Iron Balls for big punishes.
Yeah, if he can just keep track of those weapons and what he's got and what he's got to hand and which one is where, then that's actually a great idea to do.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're in the Rot Cave here for Jeff. The scariest part of the Rot Cave is usually the very start, where you want to make sure not to get rotted, otherwise you're going to die running through. But luckily he avoids that, so should have no problem for the rest of it. You just hug the right wall the entire way through and you'll make it.
All right, let's see what this is. We got a Dragonkin soldier on Consta side here. Pretty tanky because he's the one from Noxtella, and I mean, it's looking fine. It's not an incredibly difficult fight. He knows what he's doing. And in the meantime, we got a really fast Illyria Crucible Knight kill.
Oh my god!
On Jeff's side. I was just gonna say this could be hard depending on who you are. Nope, not for him. Very easy.
Yeah, I literally looked away for 2 seconds to look at how's that Dragonkin soldier of Noxtella going. Look back and it said enemy felled. I was like, okay, well, never mind. I don't get to see that fight.
No, this is not the first time someone's gotten a 0. Even like in qualifiers, people have gotten 0s. I don't know if it's happened during an official 1v1 match. I feel like maybe. But people have gotten locked with very low scores as well. Like it's not like this is the most unbelievable thing of all time. It really does suck, but that's how DRL is, and it's tough, and sometimes stuff like that happens. Sometimes you get memed on a skip, and sometimes you spawn in and you get spawn camped by the imp, exploding mouth imp, and that's just how it goes.
Oh god, not that. Oh,
Yeah.
don't bring up that. Oh, that was so sad.
Yeah. So that's just how the Deathless Rando League is, and that's why the Deathless Rando League is actually kind of interesting, because you got to keep an eye out for that stuff.
Yeah, it really can happen, you know, at any time, anywhere. You think, oh, this will be safe. You know, I've got health, I've got armor. It's fine. I'm a pro. But this game is just brutal and unforgiving. The randomizer deathless format is a brutal format. That's why there's been so many randomizer deathless, you know, challenges and leagues and things like that. Is because it's so hard, because it does not matter. You bring in, you know, 32 of the top players in the world, and you still see a ton of deaths, because that is just how brutal this game can be in a randomizer format.
And, you know, Gravity, at the end of the day, Gravity doesn't care what level you are, it doesn't care how good you are, it doesn't care about any of that. If Torrent didn't want to land the jump, he's not going to land the jump.
Yep.
And honestly, anyone who's played Elden Ring and has done some sort of torrent skip can absolutely resonate with this. Like, it's just, it sucks.
Yep. Here they are both in the exact same cave here, I do believe. But Consta still has that 3-score, now 2-score advantage. And Jeff, you know, trying to use these extra runes that he's got in order to have an advantage in speed and make up for it. He's got a ton of health, which is a great early use of runes, and now he also gets to start getting some strength, which will increase his damage by quite a lot.
So let's see how much damage he'll be doing to Onyx Lord here, because Jeff did 2-shot him very, very quickly. Okay, it's about the same damage.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's pretty comparable. Starfist is a lot faster attacking than these jump attacks, but again, does have that small range. So
yeah,
I would think, ooh, does take a big hit though from the Fell Twin. Okay, he's fine. He's fine.
Jeff is very risky, Jeff.
That is the meta, you know, the meta for DRL has really turned into trading hits, because every roll costs you stamina, and every stamina that you spend is less attacks you can do. So if you get hit by an enemy, your stamina recovers, whereas if you roll, you lose stamina instead. So the meta really has turned into just, you know, hitting, continuing to hit, get hit yourself.
Yeah.
Which is almost feels like the opposite of the intention of the league, but yeah, that's what players have found.
Ooh, we got more Moog, Lord of Blood here, who will be bleeding to these fists. So let's see if we can get a face transition. Yes!
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
a face transition skip, I mean.
Way more than enough damage.
Yeah.
Not even close there. He had like 5 extra seconds before Nihil started.
All right, let's see if, I like that they're kind of neck and neck here. We can compare how the fights go exactly. Oh, using the Starfist as well.
Yeah, this Moog is an enemy that will stand still, so the Starfist. You can see the difference in their damage, though. Although Consta does get a stagger here, so still gets the phase skip, but took quite a few more hits because of those missing runes that Jeff has. Oh, Jeff also doing big work to the Beast Clergyman.
Yeah.
There he is, down again.
Yeah, so what's cool about the Deathless Rando League is that it's not a hitless. It's not a hitless league where you want to be really careful and, you know, whatever. It's deathless. So you have to be very, very aggressive and very risky while not dying. So that's what Mitch was talking about with the tanking. You're constantly getting hit yourself, but you really have to be very careful to not get hit too much, you know, and trade a little too much. And we've seen lots of deaths to that, and it's tough. Those decisions are tough, and mastering that is very difficult. But it makes it really interesting. It's a whole different type of play style.
Yeah, very interesting. Something you don't see outside of this, because, you know, Speedrunners, you know, normally obviously would trade hits as well in kind of a similar fashion, but if you take a death in speedrunning, sometimes you're like, well, that was, you know, that was worth it. If I had gotten that hit, it would have saved me 3 seconds. And if I die, oh, well, it only cost me, you know, 30 seconds because I can run back and do the fight again. But yeah, in Deathless Randomizer League, those decisions change and you have to be careful.
Yeah.
But he's got the ulcerated tree spirit. No problem on Jeff's end. They are like, I like that they're neck and neck. They're just doing the same stuff here, so we can kind of just directly compare the differences in their builds here. Jeff's still doing a ton more damage, even despite he hasn't spent 200,000 runes now, it looks like. But, you know, he's doing a ton of damage, so I guess he doesn't need it.
Yeah, you know what though? I keep forgetting that Consta also just has the Starfist as well. I keep wanting to say, okay, let's see how the Halberds do, but it's like, oh no, he's also just using the Starfists. And yeah,
he's doing an interesting mix of the two, which
yeah.
I do think is very cool, but is maybe a little like confusing for him. Like the swapping does take some time, even if it's not a lot of time, but does take a little bit of time every time that he swaps, and constantly just trying to like, is it faster this, is it faster this?
Yeah.
You know, feels like it's getting him a little distracted, and I don't know that he's fighting at his 100% while trying to think at that. It does feel like he's missing some punish opportunities that he should be getting, and I think the swapping might have some to do with that.
Yeah, in my opinion, I feel like he knows what he's doing with it. I personally don't like to do stuff like this because then I meant to be two-handing this. I'm accidentally one-handing this. And I didn't mean to backstab him with my fist now. Darn. Like, I get into those sort of problems, but he hasn't really encountered that. So I'm sure he knows what he's doing. We do have a Mesmer on the left screen here. Love a Mesmer fight in this. They're always so fast,
Love a Mesmer.
Oh, and now a little more health.
Jeff has another halberd as well, so Jeff could try the exact same thing. He didn't start with the halberd that Consta did, but now he's picked up another halberd, so we'll see if he goes for that same thing or if he just sticks with the Starfist. Looks like he's just sticking with the Starfist. I don't see him doing any equipping or anything, so he's probably just pretty happy with his selection here.
Yeah, I personally like the Starfist. Maybe if he does encounter someone who like Erdtree Avatar who doesn't bleed and he also can't reach. Wait, Erdtree Avatar doesn't bleed, does it?
I believe it does.
It does. Ugh, I mixed that up because it's a tree and all that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Whatever. Oh, it's a little fleshy. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, never mind. But yeah, you actually with a dagger or a fist weapon, you can't reach it from the front. It's got a weird hitbox there, so maybe he'll be switching for that.
Oh, actually, you are correct. Erdtree Avatar does not.
I was right. And then the tree spirits are the fleshy ones, yeah. You know how I know? Because of my Reduvias. They do not bleed those damn trees.
You would be the knower. I mean, I use a lot of Bloodhound Fang, which does have bleed on it, but you usually just kind of take out Erdtree Avatars so quickly. I don't even watch if they bleed. They just kind of stagger and die.
Yeah, understandable. Nice Knight's Cav here.
Very nice kill. As a reminder, this game is not over. It is very, very Consta favored at this point, but it is not over because deaths can be unlocked by the opposing player also dying. So if Consta dies twice, then they will basically be back to even. Consta does still have a 2-score advantage, but it would be back to a neck-and-neck fight. Especially if Consta dies, that would lose him some time. If he dies twice, I expect Jeff would, even or overtake in score. So that really is all it takes. Having 2 deaths, not unheard of. Not even like that uncommon, even in these elimination matches. We've seen 2 deaths from the #1 seed Hoosier in his first match. He had 2 deaths as well. So even some of the best players can absolutely still have not only a death, but multiple deaths.
Right. I will say, I think Hoosier is also more of an aggressive player, and I think that for Jeff, I think he would have preferred for his opponent to also be a bit more of an aggressive, riskier player, because that will increase the odds of potentially dying, obviously. And Consta is obviously a very consistent player, like very consistent, very safe. He's not doing anything too risky right now. So I personally don't know if I foresee a death happening for him. Obviously anything could happen. And like Mitch said, people be dying sometimes. So maybe we will see one. But yeah, I mean, there's still an hour 18. It's not over, and Jeff has done a really great job catching up with the score count.
Yeah, only a one score difference at this point. That is so close. If the deaths get evened out, like, yeah, it really is anyone's game. I say if, you know, if the most unlikely and, you know, difficult thing to happen happens, but it really could.
It could. It really could. You know, I feel like Jeff's death was so unlikely anyway that maybe it's also unlikely for Consta to die twice, and just it's the crazy unlikely game of unlikely things to happen. So, you know what, maybe.
Yeah. And we are intentionally caster cursing to try to get a closer game here. That is our goal.
We did get the Gauche Medallion Dedectus over here from the from the Ancestral Moose. That was in in the Weeping Catacomb, the Cemetery Shade one. Yeah. We gotta keep that in mind for when I assume Jeff will do it, like everyone does that one, but
yeah, I definitely expect that. He's been through there as well. He just, I don't think. Oh, gets a bleed proc on him from Esker, though. Esker is a very scary one because bleed does not care about the scaling. It just does percentage of your max health. Okay, he got him, though.
Yo, Esker sucks, and Reduvia out... Listen, I don't want to rage bait, but Reduvia outplays the Starfist sometimes.
Sometimes. And that's a place we could see Consta die. Like, that is one where, like, it kind of doesn't matter, you know, how good you are, all of this. You get hit once by a random dog hit, and then you get comboed into Esker, into another dog hit, and all of a sudden you're just bleeded once or twice and dead. Oh, but Jeff rotted. Oh, takes a really risky hit there, takes a trade. He's so low on health. He doesn't have any heals left.
Is he gonna
has to either Mog or get this Grace in time before the rot takes... Ah! Jeff!
Don't do this to us!
Oh my god!
Yo, that was terrifying. The fact that he almost Memory of Grace is crazy. Holy...
Yeah.
Girl, this is... I'm losing years off my life with this match.
God. We're not cursing Jeff. We're trying to curse the other way, I swear. We're trying to even it up.
Jeff is the riskiest player I've seen so far, for sure.
Yeah, this is riskier than I was expecting. You know, I saw some early deaths in the qualifiers, but you know, that happens. But he's just constantly going for it.
And you know what? It's a valid way to play, by the way. I just don't want you guys to think we're criticizing him on this. It's absolutely a way to play. People play risky all the time. It just so happens I think he's the riskiest.
Yeah.
And like I said, it works out sometimes it doesn't. That's just all it is.
Yeah, in an alternate world where gravity worked in this game, you know, it would be a lot closer, and he could be just overtaking in score and really running away with it with these risks. But, you know, sometimes it just does not pay off.
Oh, yeah. I do wonder if the whole match would be different if he didn't die there. Like, I wonder if he's just playing extreme risky because of that one death, or if this is just how he always is. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I haven't watched through enough of his previous matches to really know that either. I would expect he always plays this risky, but I think the nerves could be, you know, taking that same amount of risk and turning it into a lot more trouble because he might be making just a few little tech errors. A little rolled too early, rolled too late, you know, went for an extra hit instead of a roll. Just because nerves can just make it harder to make perfect decisions in a situation like this.
All right, here we have Esker. How is Esker going to treat Consta horribly? That damn Reduvia.
Yeah, classic.
And the Reduvia does have a projectile, by the way, so keeping your distance isn't always the best bet with it either. Great damage, though. With great range as well. There it is. Okay. Woo!
Very nice. Cleans that up. It looked a lot, you know, less scary than it was on Jeff's end. So, yeah. Consta doing a great job of, I think the jump attack also is quite safe. Like, you get to have that extra range. You get to kind of, in between attacks, back off, decide when to go in, you know, take your opportunities. As opposed to Starfist, you have to stick right up in their face and kind of try to combo them. So it can be a lot harder. Ooh, tiny little arena, though, to see a duo. The Crucible Knight plus the Crystallion are just absolutely comboing him. Okay. Manages to get away. Does need to be careful. Oh, the Crucible Knight now in the second phase. He can't get any hits in. He has to just try to avoid it. He gets locked in the corner. Oh, my God. Please. He's getting fully womboed. He's trying to get away. He tries to heal. He gets it off. Okay, he's a little more safe. Back down to half health. Crucible Knight still super aggressive. Gets hit with the tail again.
My God.
Nice, down to a 1v1. He should be fine from here. The Crystallion luckily went AFK at the end. Oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, Consta also had a duo fight. Light work. Didn't sweat it. It was super fast. Oh my gosh. This is crazy.
It really is. It's just back and forth with both of them almost dying, and I mean, Jeff just, you know, happened to actually die twice, and Consta hasn't yet, but it's been scary on both ends.
Okay, let's calm down a little bit, right, Jeff?
Yeah, I need a break. I need a break from all this. Please give my heart some time to recover from this.
Okay, we got an Urtry Avatar fight here on Consta's side. Great Halberd, jump Halberd attacks. Did we see if they...
Ooh, low again? But okay, the jump attack's nice and easy. Oh, please, we need a break.
Do they have, other than the bird armor, do they have a talisman for a jump attack?
I haven't seen their talisman setup. They definitely showed it early, but I was not paying enough attention, so I'm not sure. You know, it is pretty rare. There's only, I think, the one talisman that really is jump attacks, although there are a few that are multi-attacks, things like that jump attacks can synergize with. So I don't know exactly what talismans they have, but if I had to just throw out a guess, I would doubt that they have a jump attack talisman.
All right, this will be the Deathless half for him. Nice and easy. Hopefully they get the second one. Otherwise, this will be a cursed seed.
Yeah. I mean, you only find the Deathless half. You find it the majority of the time, I think, that you find both. But there are a lot of bosses that are skipped that could have it. Things like Underground is usually too slow to go for. You know, something like if it's after Radon, you need to get to Altus first. Consta now in this same tiny little arena, really trying not to die.
The room is diabolical, this one. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Girl.
Oh, getting comboed a little. Okay. He's just avoiding, but he can't get away. He just has to keep rolling. Oh my god, what perfect iframes. Excellent.
Holy.
Oh, excellent rolls. I am kind of surprised that nothing more hit him there, but oh, cleans up so easily. Nice fight from Consta.
Yeah, very nice. And he had both of the guys aggroed on him at the same time.
Yeah, he really just kept it cool and calm under that situation and just said, okay, I'm just gonna roll at the right timing. No panic rolls, no spam rolling. He just knew exactly when to roll, and it was beautiful to see.
We had a bell-bearing hunter in the Rick arena, which is nice because those guys tend to be tanky sometimes.
Yeah, a little tanky, but luckily usually pretty easy to kind of get in a loop of get behind him, hit him twice, get behind him, hit him twice, and so on.
All right, let's see what the Margit replace. Oh, they're both heading to the Margit replacement at the same time. They're very much on the same path here.
Yeah, they both seem to know there's kind of an optimal way to get through these bosses, and that involves kind of doing the same thing. Oh, Renala first phase. The field trip.
So there will be a big time difference if someone is able to skip or like one facer and someone is not able to do that. I can't imagine that they wouldn't be able to, but sometimes those kids could like knock you out of the attack you're trying to do and really screw up your plans there. Yeah, Starfist is definitely the vibe for this. I would have done the same.
For sure, for sure. Should be an easy kill
Nice.
here. Boom. Nice one cycle. And then on Jeff's side, I expect we'll see the exact same thing. Knock her down, and then a solid just, you know, like 5-ish charged R2s should do it. It was a little early on the first one, though, or maybe out of range.
Oh.
But, yeah, does
that
it
was
in
a
4
lot
hits.
faster than Consta's. I think those levels really are
Those
carrying
levels
some
make a
weight for 'em.
huge difference. Yeah, they are carrying in the speed department. He's still behind by a score of 2, as he has been, but he's already done some of the slower bosses. Those Dragon Barrow ones that we saw him do early for runes are also just slower bosses. They just take longer. So at some point, Consta is probably going to need to do those Dragon Barrow bosses as well, and is going to lose a lot of time in doing so. So the score, you know, aside from the deaths, is very, very close to each other right now. Ooh, this is a catacomb where you do want to Memory of Grace out. Consta getting a little stuck, has to kill some enemies before mogging. Okay, but he is fine. And now Jeff having to do the same thing. Also has to kill those same enemies. Now mog. Yes, catacomb.
I
With emotes.
love the
Thank you,
catacomb. It's so cute. It's like, if you just like zoom it in and look at it, the little guy is just like getting a little haircut. It's so cute. All right, let's see who this boss is in here. It's a nice big arena for DRL. Wasn't necessary.
DRL. Oh, almost a
insane
one-shot
damage.
from Consta. Honestly, the jump attack I think is better here for DRL. DRL can be hard to get some of those attacks in, but Jeff does not struggle too much, does manage to stay close enough to get those Starfist hits.
Yeah, he jumps around a lot. You'll charge something and then he immediately dodges. It's like, okay.
Yeah, so Jeff just went for tap R2s instead of charged R2s for exactly that reason. Darryl just a little too squirrely. Does change now the Starfist to heavy to get the extra scaling there. Just puts the looks like it's just the kick Ash of War on it. I'm not sure. Oh no, it's Blink. Is that Blink Bolt?
What the hell is Blink Bolt, Mitch?
That should be the DLC one where you blink forward in lightning, right? I think that's like the Death Knights use.
Okay, I know what the move that is, but I didn't know it was called Blink Bolt. That's funny.
Yeah. All right, chat confirming. Hooray! I know my stuff.
Wow, Mitch knows something. Wow, we're all surprised.
I know. Well, I'm surprised. I only know speedrun stuff, and that's not in the speedrun, so.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
Yeah, fair. Oh, we got Millennia here on the on Consta side.
Yeah, does find her not nearly as early as Jeff found her, so much faster, much easier fight. Opting for the Starfist here because those tap R2s are pretty good against her. I think the jump attacks would also have worked pretty well, but it can be a little scary. You go for a jump attack and she does waterfowl dance, and now all of a sudden, uh-oh, I'm locked in place. But ooh, almost kills her before she even gets her second phase transition off, which was really nice. Just tanks through some of the rot. Might as well get that early kill and get out of here.
Great fight. That was super fast.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Jeff getting... Okay. I thought that was going to be scarier than it was. I thought Torrent was about to die. He got a little comboed by another of those bleed imps or something. I couldn't see what it was. It was too small on the screen, but yeah. Whew, luckily makes it through. I want to see if he's going to despawn. Classic. I want to see if he's going to despawn this invader or just try to kill the invader. The invader can be killed fairly quickly, but yeah, safer to just run away and despawn it. And we can now see their talismans, and there is Blue Dancer, but there is no jump attack talisman. Honestly, kind of an unfortunate set of talismans. There was nothing there that screamed like, this is an amazing talisman. It's kind of all just like, oh yeah, it's okay, it's solid.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could have worked for, that could have helped these Starfists get to their full potential.
Mm-hmm.
But alas, the rando giveth and the rando taketh.
Yeah, and the reason that you're seeing, some really, really late bosses that are dying in 2 hits is because Randomizer uses a scaling value. So any boss that is placed into Limgrave is going to be scaled way down. Whereas if they, for example, went into the DLC, which they do have a grace and access to, then bosses would be scaled up to DLC levels. So because they are in Limgrave, the earliest area in the game, they also get the lowest scaling in the game for all the bosses that they see.
Yeah, if the bosses weren't scaled, it would just make this like kind of impossible almost. Maybe not quite impossible, but a lot more difficult.
You'd have to pick your battles a lot more carefully. You'd like peek your head in and be like, oh, that's Melania. Nope, just kidding. I'm going to go somewhere else. Peek your head in. Oh, that's Darrell. I can get him. And then you'd go in and fight him. So it would be a very, very different meta. Instead of rushing a bunch of boss kills, it would be more like, can I kill this boss? No. Can I kill this boss? Yes. Type of a decision making. So honestly, could be a fun format. I don't know. But it would be very, very different than this format.
I'm holding my breath on this. I have seen a death here as well before.
He's fine. Jeff's fine.
He's being more
He's
careful.
got it.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. That first jump was a little scary for me because he did not get over the branch. He jumped to the branch. So if he had, I don't know, somehow gotten his double jump stolen from Torrent, he would have died. But nah, he knows his spots. He's got it easy. Nice. Stagger on a Dula. Should be enough to kill. Honestly, he probably doesn't even need to hit him in the head,
nice.
But does, and there you go.
Great fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are reading chat, but
Deathrite
obviously
Bird.
we are commentating the match, so we're not actively reading every single message. But we do see questions, or if there's a stir in the chat, you need something answered, something like that.
Ooh, the big explosion from the Deathrite Bird! Oh, luckily, it just doesn't spawn fire. I guess this arena, it must have spawned, like, on the roof or something. Yeah, you can see it on the crystals in the edge of the arena. That could have been really, really scary. If he'd gotten hit by the explosion and stuck in the fire, that could have led to a death, but luckily for him, not a death there. He was 1 hit away from preventing that explosion, but the explosion went off, but he lived.
Snail. We got a pumpkin head over here. Nice damage. Nice and easy.
Very nice. Yep. Just have to make sure not to hit it in the head, otherwise it takes very little damage and does a great job of hitting from behind. And I guess as a reminder, since it's been a little while since we've mentioned it, how the deaths work is each death locks your score, and your opponent dying would unlock your score. So Jeff is currently locked at 0 and at 7, but if Consta dies once, then one of those locks would be removed. And if Consta dies twice, both of those locks would be removed, and it goes back to just kind of a straight race of whose score is higher. So even though Jeff right now would lose the match, that does not mean he is guaranteed to lose by the end. It would just take Consta dying twice to unlock Jeff's score.
Yeah, which, I mean, Consta's playstyle, as we were seeing, is very safe and consistent. Well, I mean, I say safe. He still does kind of scary things, and he's still trading a lot and all that. But comparative to someone who is a proper aggressive, risky player, he is playing pretty consistently and safely. And so I can't really see a crazy death happening for him. But obviously, I mean, with an hour left, we don't know what we're going to see. We don't know what he's going to be attempting. Anything is possible.
Scary jump from Jeff. He is still playing risky. Let me tell you, he is still playing risky. He skipped one of the platforms on the way down this cave and jumped all the way across to the other side. I have seen things like that go horribly. Sometimes you just get really short jumps, or you get hit in midair and you just fall straight down. But luckily was not caught this time. Especially there was the bugs that do the pest threads. I will not say their colloquial name here on this broadcast, but.
Right, yeah, I also haven't done that a single time.
No, never.
I know what your next Tomodachi Life phrase will be.
No.
Now that I've started
I do love
playing
saying
that,
keyboard and mouse is better.
Now that I've started playing that, I've started keeping an eye out for my friends' catchphrases that I'll be putting in and what I can twist to sound a little weird. But anyway.
Oh no.
So Consta still hasn't found that academy key, by the way. So I don't, now at this point I don't remember where the, I do, it was the Dragon Barrow. It was the bridge boss in the Dragon Barrow. So Consta won't find that probably for a little bit still. He's cleaning up some early game bosses. So I wonder if that would be a little bit of a time loss eventually for him. We'll see if he ends up going.
Yeah, I would expect. I mean, he will check Dragon Barrow eventually. It's just a matter of when. Right. A lot of players will do it even after Altus because, you know, it's just way higher scaled than Altus. So if you do Altus first, you get to kind of naturally ramp up your difficulty. Whereas if you go straight to Dragon Barrow, you spike your difficulty super early, you know, and then kind of drop back down as you do other things. So it is a much nicer difficulty curve if you save Dragon Barrow for way later. Oh, Mimic Tier here knows to just take off all of his weapons. Nice to find it out in the field so that he can take off all of his weapons. That's one interesting thing about his jump attack build is normally he'd have something in both hands, so Mimic Tier would get to copy his weapon, whereas if you're only using Star Fist, you put it in the offhand so that Mimic Tier will get confused and try to punch you with the main hand instead of the Star Fist. Would not work with jump attacks, but luckily found it out in the field, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
Super nice. Look at that fist damage. Nice. Great fight there.
Yeah, they have now sort of separated again.
Yes.
And Consta, honestly, still keeping up a solid lead on the score here, 38-34. Erdtree Avatar, let's see how many times Starfist misses. Oh, no, he knows. He's got the leg.
He's on the side,
yep. Yeah. One more hit needed. Oh, barely gets the kill. He still has to be careful, though. This still goes off. Ooh. Okay, spams roll and he's fine.
A lot of those went right through him. Don't know how he didn't die, but okay. You know what? Hey.
Yeah, you know, roll iframes are powerful.
Yeah, so I think, obviously we still have the deaths, I know, but I think other than the deaths, the score, I think, is doing that thing where it's a little bit of an artificial lead, just because Jeff did take time going into Dragon Barrow and fighting these harder bosses, got some money, got some levels. I feel like the score, I mean, I imagine Consta would still be ahead, but I would imagine more by like 1 or 2, as opposed to the 3 lead that he has.
Yeah, definitely, you know, the deaths, not only do they obviously lock your score, which is the most important thing, but they also lose you that time. So yeah. Definitely it would be very, very close without those.
Great Death Knight kill.
Yeah, Death Knights are one that you can jump over a lot, so using the jump attack weapons on it was very, very smart idea. And now Jeff has that Crucible Knight Misbegotten duo that was very scary for Consta, but honestly deals with the Misbegotten with no problem here, so should have a nice, quick, and honestly very safe fight. Very nice.
Yeah, great work there. All right, heading into this Everjail. Who do we have here? Ooh, the Bofa.
Yep, classic Beastman of Faramazula. One of the easiest bosses, but also in some ways makes it kind of a scary boss because nobody will have practiced it. You just practice hitting him 3 times and then he dies. But luckily does not get hit at all there. Another Bell-Bearing Hunter on Jeff's side. The absolute bane of Night Rain players, getting one shot to it, but luckily in base game Elden Ring isn't that bad.
And yeah, in base game, Elmer is way less bad than the others.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the one in Night Rain. The one in Night Rain is so tanky. And
yeah,
just
so tanky
strong.
and so much damage. And honestly, even having multiple people in something like Night Rain, you'd think would make it easier. But him switching targets, just it gets confusing. It's really hard to loop him in Night Rain.
Yeah, we have an Omen Killer here. It didn't matter because he is the squishiest guy alive, but Omen Killer can hit real strong if you're not careful enough. Luckily, it didn't matter because he just dies so fast, but if he ever doesn't die so fast, it can get out of hand a little bit.
Yeah, those weapons on the Omen Killers can do big damage. If they do like the triple jump attack and you just kind of get stuck in all of them, yeah, very easy to take a ton of damage, but no problem for these competitors.
So I've kind of lost track a little bit who has done what. Have they both cleaned up? No, they haven't finished Liurnia, but they've gone through a bunch of Limgrave at this point. And
Yeah, they've gone through a bunch of Limgrave, and I think Consta has done a little more Liurnia.
Right, yeah. While Jeff was busy in Dragon Barrow and some other stuff.
And is now cleaning up some Caelid stuff. This specific Caelid stuff we did already see from Consta. This is where we saw the Dragonkin soldier as well earlier after this Rune Bear. So they are a little bit trading what other ones, what they have done from each other.
Who is this? Is this Ymir?
Yes, the classic pose with his hands out, and then he's gonna immediately start birthing some hands.
Ew, weirdo. I hate Ymir. He's weird. Nice.
He just wants to be the only mother. Oh, scary for Jeff. Gets knocked way down. He's not even healing. He's kind of running in and just going for it. He knew he was about to get the stagger.
Yeah.
I mean, good play, but risky play. Jeff really just saying, no, I'm going as fast as possible.
You know what? Some people just know stagger times like that. And like, that's good that he knew that. Because, yeah, some of those can get real scary.
I mean, especially with Starfist, because as we've mentioned, it's one that just misses. Sometimes you go, oh yeah, this hit'll stagger. You go for the hit, you miss entirely, and then the enemy just slaps you and you die. So really risky, but does pay off big.
Yeah, I can imagine if Jeff is taking a little more of a risky approach to this after the deaths. Like, the score still matters, but obviously dying twice is a little bit... It's a little bit more unrealistic for your opponent to expect your opponent to die twice. Not that it can't happen, of course, but I can imagine if it were me, I feel like after one death, I'd be like, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something where, like, yeah, even after one death, it can be hard mentally to keep going. Like, it's something where you might want to forfeit, but you do always have a chance, right? It's always possible that your opponent dies. And of course, you want to put on a good show. At the end of the day, this is a for-fun tournament. You know, this isn't something where it's like, if you don't get first, you know, my life is ruined. It's just supposed to be something that they're doing for fun. There's no prize pool on the line here. So finishing out these runs, even just for the fun of it, can be a good thing to do. And put on a good show. We love watching. We love commentating. Hopefully chat is enjoying watching as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, people keep saying, like, oh, well, why doesn't Consta just sit there? Okay, like, even if Consta knew, even if Consta knew that Jeff died, which he doesn't know, but even if he knew, I feel like none of these players would ever do that. Why would it just looks it looks horrible. You'll never get invited back. That's so BM. No one's doing that.
I believe the old format where your score was locked forever and there was never a way to unlock your score. If one player was locked and the other player had a higher score, they did tell the players so that they were like, okay, you can stop panicking, like you won the match, or unfortunately for the other player, you can stop panicking, you lost the match. But yeah, for a format like this, it really is never over till it's over, so they don't know, and even if they did, they would want to, you know, keep going because it's still possible.
God, extremely intense music here, Chad, huh? Ooh, Valiant Gargoyle. Ooh. Okay, damage is pretty good.
Yeah, luckily it's a strike weapon. They are weakest to strike. He's going to be poisoned, but actually that's almost not a good thing per se, but not a bad thing because the gargoyles, you would usually sit in their poison ticks anyway. So them being in this poison pool is kind of a weird, almost synergy of, yeah, I'm going to get poisoned no matter what, so might as well just sit in everything. Oh, doesn't even get a single poison though, just shreds through them.
Super good, yeah. Despite them not bleeding, the strike is just so powerful.
Yeah, the Starfist, you might think, oh, it's got bleed on it, so it must be a weak weapon because it's got bleed on it. No, it actually does as much or more damage than the Iron Balls, the similar weapon, and then just also has bleed on it. It's absurd how powerful they made Starfist.
I guess the range though is really the thing, but I don't know. I think it's fine.
Yeah. It is definitely the type of weapon that if you're speedrunning, it's perfect for you, and if you're playing casually, you know, maybe you'd pick something else.
Great Commander O'Neill fight there. Super clean.
Yeah, very, very clean. Luckily, when you have enough damage, you can kind of ignore a lot of the ghosts. If he was really high scaled, like, it can be a bit of a mess. You might have to go around killing the ghosts and waste a bunch of time, or you could risk it, but then you might get comboed. But luckily, low scaled enough, you could just slap him.
Yeah, that was really good. I wish that we had a boss of that chariot. I'm kind of surprised that we don't. Those flame chariots.
Yeah, I mean, we technically do in Night Rain, trio camp. But then also in Night Rain, you can just jump on their head and just one-shot them. So it's hardly even a boss fight there.
Yeah.
Jeff now onto this Omen Killer, which, as we mentioned, can be a little scary, but, I mean, it's Starfist. Oh, is he going for the Domo skip? I've seen people die here.
Apparently, it's really dangerous.
It is very dangerous, but he's going for it. Jeff does not care about the dangers. He is going to take those risks no matter what. Oh, okay. They're scaring me there. Oh.
That looked really good, actually. That looked no problem.
It was really good, but also just jumping off the cliff with the plan to jump back onto the pillar. Like, oh my god, just watching it, that just makes me so nervous.
Yeah, it's a little spooky, but he seemed like he was confident in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's confident in all these skips. You can tell that is one of the things that he has practiced the most is these skips in order to get faster pathing to try to get some more bosses. And, you know, it has done very well for him in all of the skips except for one.
Ooh, Borealis doing the freeze breath. Oh my god.
Oh, in this, tiny little arena, he can't get away. Luckily low scaled. If this was a higher scaled Borealis, that was just a guaranteed death for sure.
What?
But
that's crazy. I feel like that could have gone wrong so quickly if in any other situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is just lucky that the scaling is in effect here. Because these bosses that they are fighting would be nightmares at their full potential.
Oh boy, score is still looking really close, actually. It's actually kind of impressive that Jeff caught up like that after dying twice and wasting time on the deaths.
Yeah, it's that early Dragon Barrow. That rune lead really is just, you know, making every single fight faster. Like, he, at this point, is basically caught up in score. A 1 difference, about to be 2, about to be back down to 1. But has done those much slower Dragon Barrow bosses and has still come back up with the score. So, yeah, Jeff, I expect will have a higher on-screen score than Consta does, and it's all gonna come down to those deaths for sure.
Who was over here? Who, was this the Mimic tier? Yes, it was. And we're going to see Jeff take off his weapon.
Yeah, you almost don't need to do it if you have your weapon in the offhand, because Mimic tier very rarely actually uses a weapon in the offhand. But, you know, just to be safe, not a bad idea.
The punching. Hey, he tried.
I mean, even skips the heal on the Mimic tier. That's just too easy there.
Back to a tied score of 47 to 47. Super fast fights. Jeff's fights and his lines, I feel, have been very clean.
Yeah, absolutely. He's showing why, you know, he in the qualifiers was in the winner's bracket due to that speed, whereas Consta has had to fight through this loser's bracket just to stay alive. So both of them, you know, playing very well, but, you know, some unfortunate things from Jeff's side has made this feel pretty one-sided so far.
Ooh, we got the double gargoyle spawned in together. Ooh.
Oh, getting a little comboed.
Yeah, that's
still above half.
Oh,
Should be able to finish off one of the gargoyles. No, but this is the worst attack to see.
Oh no.
Oh, he got the dodge, but then gets hit right as he's trying to finish off the gargoyle. He is poisoned. No, there's a death.
Dies.
First deaths for Consta. This is what we talked about. You cannot count out your opponent dying. It's now only a 1 death difference. The first lock on Jeff has been unlocked. His score is going to go up from 0 up to 7. That was the second death he had, the second lock. And if Consta dies one more time, it's anyone's game. Consta going back in for it. He says, hey, I'm not scared. I'll go for Valiant Gargoyles. This could be a mistake. If he dies twice to Gargoyles, the whole thing is flipped.
I feel like maybe what happened here was like, I mean, I don't know. Gargoyles are so tough, and maybe he was just expecting... Like, I feel like it's a little difficult to go from all these bosses dying really quickly and you having, like, a really great build for everyone to just not happening to the gargoyles, you know? And then you're like, oh, I can't be as greedy as I could with the others. Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, and he is killing it a little slower than Jeff did, partially because he is choosing to use the jump attack build, which is very powerful against gargoyles, but is that standard damage, whereas Jeff was using strike damage, which they are weaker to. So if he had used the iron balls instead with that same sort of strategy, he might have killed one in time and saved that death, but now we're close. Now Jeff has taken the lead in score, and it's all up to will Consta die one more time to unlock Jeff's score. If so, Jeff's in the lead.
If so, then we got the game on our hands, guys.
We definitely have a game on our hand no matter what, because they are both going to fight it out for 45 more minutes. Consta sees Ancient Dragon Man, also says, nah, that's not for me, but is heading towards where Jeff died the second time. If he goes for that Black Knife Assassin as well and gets a little wombo comboed, runs out of heals, tries to run away on Torrent, the same thing could happen. It is a very, very scary boss, so we'll see. Jeff kind of took those risks early, whereas Consta is now having to take those risks a little bit later. Very, very interesting match.
Yeah, so the difference here is that Consta's coming here much later than Jeff had, so it might be a little bit easier for Consta to get through some of these bosses because he's obviously just got a stronger build at this point. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how he reacts to these.
Yep, starting with this tree spirit. So far, so good. Pretty easy. Just got to make sure not to get grabbed. Yep, easy dodge. And then he's going to be very, very aware of the phase transition. Try not to get caught in it. Jeff did get caught in the phase transition explosion while he was on Torrent. So we'll see if Consta has that same problem. He should probably run away right now. Yep, there's the explosion.
Dude,
does manage to make it away. Yeah, that is the Dragon Barrow scaling. Everything here is just going to take way longer. Ooh, gets hit by the tail slap, gets down to half health. He will get 2-shot. If he gets comboed by anything, this Tree Spirit could kill him, so he's got to play it really, really safe. Luckily gets the breath attack that you can just kind of stand under and it misses. One more jump attack should probably stagger. Well, I was wrong. It's going to take one more after this. Ooh, gets hit a little more, though. Gets the stagger, though.
Nice.
This, I think, should be enough to kill. Yeah, there it is.
for sure. It's a good kill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, this is getting a little stressful, Mitch.
Yeah. Jeff now on the Deathrite Bird that also gave Consta some trouble with the explosion, but oh my God, that damage. No trouble at all for Jeff. Just cleans it up.
We have Midra coming up on this bridge too. I do wonder if Consta will go for him. I imagine yes, Midra. I think most players will probably be familiar with him. It's just he's a tanky guy.
Yeah. Oh, Consta getting a little stuck on this skip here. Making absolutely sure that he gets counted as landing. Does not want to fall damage death.
See, chat, like, isn't it crazy? We know our perspective, but from their perspectives, Consta probably thinks he's out with that death. Jeff probably thinks he's out with those 2 deaths. They have no idea what's going on. Like, it's crazy. It's so, it's just, ah!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Consta is going for Midra, who is, you know, that was a little scary. DLC boss, Dragon Barrow scaling.
Gets on the horse, avoids the explosion.
Yep. Good call there. Ooh. You can avoid it just by running. Oh, misses, gets knocked down. Okay, it wasn't too bad.
Great dodges there.
Mm-hmm. It really does not want to get that grab attack. It does a ton of damage if you get fully grabbed, and then the like spikes through your entire spine is horrible. So he's going to really make sure to avoid that. And otherwise try to avoid the Frenzy. Frenzy will not only do a big burst of damage, but also lock you in place with the Frenzy animation. If he gets Frenzied, he will almost certainly die. So he needs to keep that Frenzy bar low as well.
Yeah, Midra is definitely one of those, again, like, he's not too bad, but once you're like, okay, it's time for me to heal, it can get so out of hand so quickly if you, like, back off and try and heal, and then he catches you, and then he frenzies you. Terrifying. Great
yeah, it really is one where he basically just took the opportunity to heal during the riposte, because it's like, when else are you going to heal? Like, that is the only time that Midra stands still long enough.
You know what, though?
During this time, Jeff has a big lead now. 3 bosses, because the Dragon Barrow bosses are just that slow.
Yeah. I don't want to curse it, but yeah, great, okay. I was gonna say, other than a little bit of a shaky start, that fight was pretty clean. He knows his dodges.
Very clean. I expect that most of these competitors will have practiced Midra quite a bit because, you know, he's just such a long fight that you get so much practice learning every single one of his moves every single time you see him.
Right. So, Consta is headed into that Black Knife Assassin fight that Jeff had his second death to. So we will see how this goes for Consta.
Yeah, this might end up being the one spot that separates them is a death to the Black Knife Assassin versus a non-death. Or if he dies, then it might be the great equalizer. You know, we thought, oh no, Jeff made this big mistake, but if Consta makes that same mistake, then it will flip around. So it's not all comes down to this, but this is definitely a very pivotal moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he can get Electo cleanly.
That range
Ooh,
is so
nice
good.
jump back punish.
Super great.
We haven't seen Electo's special move yet. Her like big flurry of attacks. So we'll see. There it is. Okay, Consta knows to just run away from it. You just never try to punish it. It is possible to run behind it and get a little bit more of a punish, but just way too risky. Ooh, gets knocked down, half health. Has to be careful. It's hard to find times to heal, but okay, that'll be a good time to heal.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't take it though. Punishes her instead. Okay,
I always
and then
take
she
those
backs off.
backstabs. It's interesting that he's not opting to go for that. I guess it's safer, but he's not looking for safer.
Yeah. If the timer ended right now, it would be Jeff's win, but that's only because Consta has only died once to Jeff's twice so far. So he really, really needs to be careful of this.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do. This precipice, though, is very scary. Like, very, very scary.
Oh, God.
You can see so many deaths getting knocked off of edges, getting comboed, getting stuck on ladders. Like, there's just so many different places that you could die in the precipice. So, very scary. Jeff just continuing to basically check every single possible place before heading to precipice. I think he just really wants to find that Dectus half.
Yeah.
But it's getting late. You know, you want to get to Altus at some point, so he could lose out on some score because of it.
Yeah, so precipice is scary. It's slow. It's also dangerous if you get bad RNG. In the match we just had, it was like the safest precipice rando I've ever seen in my life. But it can get pretty scary. So that's why players don't opt to go for this if they have a choice. Oh, and here we have Borealis, which is pretty scary for Consta. Jeff is a higher level. I don't imagine it'll be a difficult fight, but yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like he's even gonna skip the phase transition. Not scary at all if he does not yell. So just kill bosses faster and then you won't die. That's kind of the meta.
Oh, this is the wet nurse from Bloodborne. This is like the only one I super always point out because it's really unique.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't hear my music, but unless you are you watching?
I don't. No, I'm not. I would hear you twice. That'd be a little.
Yeah,
too
that's
much.
a little weird.
A little too much Parky for me. I can only take one.
Yeah, there is a scary ladder, not this one, but the next one, where it's like the scariest part for a randomizer. If you get a flying enemy, he'll just keep knocking you down. Or some kind of projectile enemy. Makes this very difficult. Oh, and we just got a guy standing there.
Just a guy. Yeah, that should be an easy one to get by.
Who even is that?
Sometimes there's also ranged. He's just scared. He just walked away. This is not the end of the scary bit, though. There's now very small ledges that he has to get by and a couple more, there's a ladder, there's an elevator. So he's going to have to be very careful here. I have gotten knocked off in Deathless Randomizer here by a wolf, which he also saw, but luckily gets by it. No problem. And so now it's just getting onto the elevator.
Jeff seems to be giving up on his search for the Deathless half, and he is on his way to the precipice as well. Oh.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a seed that you do not get the halves.
Nice.
Ooh, the blood fiends can be very scary. DLC enemies, they can just hit very hard and bleed, but
he fell.
That one just kind of
didn't matter.
He fell. He failed.
You know what though? I just want to acknowledge for the people in the chat who are not happy with Jeff's decision to go to Dragon Barrow, you can see his score is 58 to 51 right now. Like that put him ahead so because of how fast his boss fights were. It put him ahead so much, which just goes to show it was risky and he did die and the risk didn't pay off, in that moment because he has 2 deaths. But assuming he doesn't die or assuming the opponent dies, it actually is a really strong strat if you can pull it off.
Yeah, it's easy to sit there and say, well, in hindsight, he shouldn't have done it. But it really did have a big chance of paying off as well. Ooh, Consta getting exploded by Mesmer a little. Kind of getting womboed a little. He's got to be careful.
Oh my god.
Okay, gets through the explosion and he's fine. Oh my god.
That was so scary for a second.
Yeah.
Oh.
That could have tied it up right there in deaths.
Well, Altus time for Consta. Now he's going to be on a little bit of a boss rush. Now he's just got go, 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 go. Let's get through all of these Altus bosses. With Jeff shortly coming up behind him as well.
Yeah, Jeff still has to get through this precipice. We saw it wasn't the scariest precipice, so Jeff hopefully will be fine going through it as well. But there were a few bosses that could give some trouble. But yeah, Consta out onto the Altus side and now can just clean up bosses. For example, of one thing that makes Altus powerful is there's a cave here that he can go to, Sage's Cave, that just has 2 bosses in it. So 1 cave for 2 bosses is a very, very nice thing that you can get. But Consta warping back to the same grace. I think he just wanted to refill his stuff without resting. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that is a tiny little time save. The timers are on in-game time rather than real time. So every time you go through a load screen from warping, from dying, although hopefully that wouldn't happen. What else could you get a load screen from? I'm not sure. But especially from warping, every time it will pause their timer until they finish the warp. So doing something like a warp doesn't really lose you any time.
Yeah, I would say the warps is the biggest thing, because some people just be warping. We saw that last match with Pearl. Oh my gosh. Whoa.
Oh, that's cool. So the Sage's Cave skip. Yeah. If you were to try to do that with jumping, it's barely possible, but only if you get a really good, really far jump. But Hand of Melania just takes him over the gap. That's a nice knowledge from Consta.
Yeah.
I had not thought of trying that.
What a niche little thing, huh? Like, if you have the Hand of Millennia and you're already in this cave, you can do that here.
Yep. And a very clean Romina fight so far. Gets the stagger. He's going to have to be careful. This is a small cave, and the butterflies can entirely fill the area sometimes. So he has to be really careful. Also, almost got rotted. Oh my god, there's so many butterflies. He has to roll this perfectly, otherwise he might die. Oh,
wow.
He just spam rolled. That was, I think, just lucky. I don't think he timed that. He was just praying, but luckily his prayers paid off. Oh my god, I think he was dead if he did not roll that perfectly there.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about Romina in small rooms with these damn butterflies.
Yeah, I have heard, and I have not confirmed this. I've heard there's a bug, and the butterflies do not get scaled down properly. So even just like 3 or 4 butterflies will one-shot you, and he was surrounded by them.
Terrifying. But he made it through relatively unscathed.
Jeff having a nice, cleaner fight here on Mesmer than Consta did. Getting through those explosions, no problem finishing him off here. Now he'll be an Altus as well. And Consta finds Margit, a pretty, you know, relatively easy boss, a relatively early boss. Ooh, but does miss that jump attack. He probably wanted that for the stagger, but then Margit got too much posture back. But should be able to finish him here.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got it.
Yeah, this is a really, really tough seed. This is the toughest seed, at least that I've seen from watching. Just so many places to have a death, and so many deaths we've already seen. 3 deaths in a match is a lot already, and it keeps looking like we're gonna get another. There's just so many scary places.
It's an insane seed. It feels very cursed.
Yeah.
Night Cav here, easy, except he's going.
Yep, that one doesn't count. That one's not a real boss. That one's the fake. Lanciax doesn't really count. You could get that boss to half health, then it just disappears or something. So, but this does, I believe, tell them what Lanciax will be later. Will be a Knight's Cav, so they know that if they go all the way around Altus and get to Lanciax, I believe it should be that same Knight's Cav.
Great skip up that little thing there. Nice work. Pumpkinhead and a Bofa.
Not the scariest duo, especially with this low health, but ooh, does get a little slammed though. Some misses here. A little unfortunate. A lot of stamina cost on these jump L1s, so he does have to be careful on not just running out of stamina. Oh, how did that slam not hit him? I thought that went right through him.
We got Hughes on the left here, easy.
Easy, Hughes.
All right, let's see who's in the water here. We've had some cursed people in the water here recently.
The Tibia Mariner spot, that I think that's the Hughes we just saw.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. It's been a long day.
Yeah, it is nice how they are like neck and neck now, so we can just see them doing the same bosses and again compare, and you can really see just how much more damage Jeff is generally doing. Oh, look at how fast he killed that Bofa. I'm honestly kind of surprised there is still a damage difference, it feels like, between Jeff and Consta.
Yeah, it really
because
does.
At this point, they've both done Dragon Barrow, so they both should have all the runes, but I think the jump attack build just isn't as good as just hard committing on Starfist has been.
Yeah, I agree. I think it might just be the Starfist's difference or something, because I agree that it feels like Jeff's fights are going a little bit faster.
Apparently, we also missed that Jeff was really close to dying against Hughes as well. We were both locked in on the duo fight from Consta's side, and we missed it. So yet another scary one. Yeah, Hughes hits really, really hard. He attacks pretty slow, but he does hit really, really hard. Going for another skip here from Jeff. Okay, that's a pretty easy version of that skip. I've seen other ones where you kind of land halfway down, but that one was pretty nice.
Oh my gosh, this Godskin duo, the Apostle is just standing there looking at him. Holy.
Ooh, not standing there looking anymore. Slams down on him, but luckily down to 1. So it shouldn't be too scary. Just has to avoid getting comboed.
Okay,
nice stagger here. Oh, the lobster, though, is coming in, taking a peek. And he's going to have to wait for the respawn. If the lobster starts sniping, this could get dangerous.
Gets on the horse
trying
just
not
in case.
Yeah, trying not to alert the lobster. Ooh, does get the Apostle. Generally considered the scarier and slower one to try to kill. The lobster is closing in. Hasn't seen him yet. Oh,
the lobster sees him.
The lobster sees him, and but he should be able to finish him off. Just hit him. Just hit him. Nice. Got the boss. Oh, get out of there. Under half. Oh, if the lobster snipes right now. No. Okay, he's safe. He's safe. He got the heal off.
Wow, that was so close to being bad.
Yeah, an invisible Black Knife Assassin for Jeff. If you thought Electo was bad, how about Electo, but you can't see her? Oh, tries to do some jumping attacks here. Oh, I have no idea where she is. There's no water here to see her footsteps easily. Oh, going for the,
good strat.
the waterfowl. That's not bad.
No.
Oh, but gets grabbed under half. Oh, he's got to be careful. He's got a good number of heals left right now, but he's got to be careful. Sometimes you can just kind of get comboed where you get grabbed and then she just keeps hitting you. He's going for the waterfowl, but it's just... Oh, he caught her. He caught her.
We got the assassin on the other side as well.
Oh, yeah, they're both going for it. They both could have some trouble. Oh, really, really low from Jeff's side. He tries to heal. He's at 1 health. He's at 1 health. He tries to do something, but he butt scratched instead. Gets the heal, but he's completely out now. Still under half. Consta also under half. Manages to get the heal. Both of them are in trouble. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, he mogs out.
Memory of gracing out. Okay, he got it. If he had gotten grabbed during that mog, it would have been a death, but he manages to get it. Consta committing, though. Way more heals. Gets the riposte. Almost has her. Can he finish her off? No, she jumps back. He's got to be careful. Okay, he's just going to heal up to full, so he hopefully doesn't get one shot. Does get grabbed, though.
Okay.
He's got a little more defense, though. He's above half health. He's not in too much worry. Oh, he's trying to hit her, though.
Oh,
he's
there
healing.
it is.
1 health. Okay.
Okay. Oh my god. Hey guys, please. This is so.
Please, just play a normal match.
This has been an insane.
This is just not normal.
Holy. These poor guys, bro. They have been through the ringer in this match.
Mm-hmm. They really, really have.
Oh, was that? Okay, never mind.
Okay, never minding.
Yo, Jeff has had these little imps on him the entire time. He's probably so tired of seeing them.
Dude, I hate those little imps. They're just everywhere in Randomizer. There's just so many in Catacombs that they just get dispersed through the whole game.
Yeah, what are some remaining bosses that are really cursed that we haven't seen? Bale upscaled would be not the best.
They haven't seen still the 2 scariest, in my opinion. Oh, I think that's a crash from Consta's side. He'll just load back in. They haven't seen Deathblight Dancing Lion, I think the undisputed #1 scariest. And they haven't seen Wormface, who, depending on the arena, depending on whether you can stay under his legs, depending on if there's room to move out of the Deathblight, can just Deathblight you. Ooh, this Misbegotten Crusader, though, comboing Jeff a little.
Oh my god,
okay.
Jeff.
Wow, okay.
That guy hits like a truck, man.
He really does.
Wait, I don't think this.
What? Wait, what happened on Consta's side?
No,
what happened? What
he
happened?
Had he
no, I think
spawned
that's the
into
bug.
the game
That's the
and
bug.
he fell. Yeah, I think that's a bug.
That one doesn't count. That is a true bug that does not count. Spawning into the game does not count. His death is still at 1. The overlay might get a little confused because it's all automatic, but that one does not count. Yeah, that is a little unfortunate. You might have to put like a little disclaimer on your screen overlay somewhere. He's actually at 1 death.
Yeah, Forsa is actually playing right now, so we can't even flag him. I don't even know what kind of thing I'm meant to put. We might just have to answer questions, or maybe pin it.
we might. I don't know. Yeah, we have seen that in things like the French challenge, where people have died that way, and it does not count there either. Although the French challenge was like a personal challenge as opposed to a league, so some people just counted it themselves anyway. But yeah, does not count. That is just a pure bug outside of your hands. Nothing you can do, and so no reason to hold it against the players.
Okay, now I pinned that. No one's gonna read it because no one reads the pins, but we'll refer them to the pin when necessary.
Yeah. Refer them. Yeah. Ah.
That stupid emo is so dumb. Oh my gosh, we got Consta's getting a little bit. I mean, he's okay, but that was a little scary for a second there.
It's a little scary, yeah. And they both have gone now into this fire giant in a tiny arena. Jeff got through it, no problem. We'll see if Consta has the same luck. Nice, gets the immediate break on the ankle. Should get a stagger here. Oh, although misses a little. Lets the fire giant roll away. It's a little unfortunate. Gonna be some time loss. Can't even hit him in the right leg now. Fire Giant is basically going to be stuck in infinitely rolling because he can't get far enough away to phase transition. He will only phase transition if he can make it far enough away. Oh, luckily Consta gets the stagger, though. Should be able to kill him before he starts infinitely rolling again.
Goofy fight when it's in these little arenas. All right, heading up to Apostle on Jeff's side. Curious to see who this is going to be. And there tends to be an enemy that'll chase after them that they'll knock out. I wonder if it'll be someone dangerous. Hopefully not.
Yeah, we shall see. Oh, he's just ignoring them. Yet again, sticking to his, I'm risking it. I'm not taking out any extra enemies. We're just sending it. But works out perfectly.
Nice,
I don't think he did get spotted. He is going to have to Memory of Grace here now. That is the other benefit to killing the enemy that will chase you, is you can get out of combat and warp without having to Memory of Grace. Ooh, Lobster, though, on Consta's side, heading up the same way.
Those damn
Luckily
lobsters.
Avoids it. Those darn lobsters. And they are, they are now basically, like... following in each other's footsteps, but the score is a difference of 5. Jeff has done 5 more bosses before coming to Altus, so even though they are both making their way almost identically through Altus, Jeff just has a big score lead if Consta actually gets a real second death, because that bugged second death does not count. So even though the overlay will say right now that Jeff is in the lead, in fact, Consta is in the lead as long as he does not die again. Ooh, Jeff having some trouble here with Niall. Gets a little comboed under half health. Okay, nice avoiding the soldier. There's also some other enemies nearby, though, that he has to worry about. Does get the phase transition.
Nice kill there for Consta.
Yes, very nice kill. Niall can hit very hard, especially with the lightning attack, so he's going to need to make sure to be a little safe. Has to run away from this big combo that he does as well. It luckily does end with a very big punish opportunity, though, so he can just kind of spam attacks.
Yes,
Should get a stagger here with one more charge star, too. Bam. And then he doesn't even have to take the riposte. Very nice kill.
These fights. You got a great rune. that if he has a rune arc, will be automatically equipped.
How does that work? I don't think I've seen that. Do they? You select it from the grace and then it just like activates?
It might be that. I don't know where you select it from. You might. I don't know if you just use it. It might be the one you just use. Maybe. I don't know, but you don't have to go to the tower. That's all I do know.
Oh, okay, I see. Just skips the tower. That's actually that's really nice. I really like that, because otherwise the towers are just way too slow to do in a competition like this.
Yeah, for sure. Oh.
Ooh, Consta having a little trouble on Nile. Has gotten hit once, but keeps it pretty clean. Gets a nice stagger.
Yeah, nice.
For that lightning, nice dodges. Yeah, Nile hitboxes do last a little while, so they can be tough to dodge, but both players did not have too much trouble there.
Ooh, Elmer hits hard. Gotta be careful here.
Yeah, he did get hit by one. Took about a third of his health. Took another third there. He's got to be careful. One more hit could possibly kill him. He's just going for hits. He's not even healing. He just says, I want to finish Elmer off, and he gets it. Oh.
I would have healed, but I mean,
I would have healed.
For sure.
Another risk taken, but it pays off for Jeff again. He is keeping up with a really good pace on the score.
Yeah, incredible pace, and what's kind of sad a little bit here is that first death that he got, the one that it just feels like it was. I mean, it was obviously a valid death, but it's an unfortunate death. That like almost doesn't feel like it was a real one. If that didn't happen, then they would actually be tied for deaths right now, and so that's just kind of unfortunate about that. We have seen Onze, if that's who you mean by Yoda. We have seen Onze a few times actually. He just dies so fast.
Yeah, he can depending on his scaling, but he can also combo you pretty good. So he's definitely one that I would consider in the higher end of scary bosses. Ooh, Consta getting hit again by Bellbearing Hunter. Consta definitely has some sort of better defense advantage though. He's taking, it looks like about maybe 20% less damage than Jeff is on all the hits. So I'm not sure if that's a talisman difference, if that's an armor difference, but yeah, Consta definitely getting a little safer. Yeah, very nice fight.
All right, where are we headed to next? Yeah, we are missing a bunch of cursed bosses that I'm frankly a little surprised that we haven't seen on this cursed seed. But at least the players are getting a bit of a break with some of these nicer guys.
Yeah, I mean you can't have every cursed boss on a seed. That'd be too much. We gotta leave out a few.
No, you're right. It would be the worst.
Jeff doing the Bellbearing Hunter here. This is where Altus starts to scale, you know, a little high here, so can be tough. Ooh, especially Estelle in this tiny little shack. It can be really hard to hit him in here while he's kind of stuck. And if you get really unlucky, Estelle can even get stuck like up on the roof, and then it's just like you can't hit him. So we're hoping not to see that.
We did see that happen to Eggy, which was a literal game changer for him, unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah, in a game that went down to a literal tie and then, you know, the tiebreaker of time, yeah, having a boss just get stuck where you can't kill them, it completely can make the difference.
Yeah. Same as when a dragon will fly out of an Everjail or something like that. It's out of your control and it just sucks.
Yeah, it is sort of, you know, part of the settings that we have is these big bosses can spawn in tiny arenas, and if it does, you know, it's just something you have to be aware of.
The Cemetery Shade just keeps on teleporting away. Yep. Classic Cemetery Shade.
Classic.
Ooh, oh my god. Sorry. He didn't actually he did react maybe, but that was very close to a bleed. Very scary.
Yeah, I think his health was high enough that a bleed would not have done too much, but yeah, always scary to see. Yeah, those cemetery shades, there is a consistent, easy way to kill them by backstab looping them, but getting the first backstab can be tough to do unless you just kind of sit around waiting for one specific move. And here's Lanciax. As we saw earlier, we got the preview that it would be a Knight's Cav. It is, in fact, a Knight's Cav. And so it should be a nice, easy kill for both of them, as they are both heading towards Lanciax right now.
Man, Knight's Cav is one of those where, like, when you try and be greedy, they just, like, it's not a hard boss, but you just want to be quick about it, but he's going away and just, oh my god, like, stand still.
Yeah. Definitely one of those that's more annoying than difficult in the sense of something like a randomizer. You're just like, please stand still so I can hit you.
Yeah.
All right, now Jeff is on that cemetery shade. We'll see. I don't expect him to take it safe and go for the backstab loop. No, he is just fully in there. Almost has the kill. Oh, getting a little hit though. Has to be careful. Okay, now he's gonna back off. Okay, does finally finish off the cemetery shade.
Jeff's score is locked at 7.
Yeah. So it looks a lot closer than it is, but only because Consta had a bug death. His game crashed, which happens, and then when he loaded in under the world, which caused him to immediately die. Completely not his fault. Literally nothing you can do about that, and so does not count against you. Consta only has the 1 death and is currently in the lead.
Yeah, unfortunately, the overlay doesn't account for that stuff, because I don't know how you could make it account for that stuff. And Forsa's not actively here right now, so that's all.
You would have to give the power to manually edit it to us, the casters, but that's also too much responsibility for us. I don't want to have to do that. I mean, I guess you're the main caster, so it'd be your responsibility, but...
Yeah, the overlay is automatic. It's really, really well done.
Yeah. Shoutouts to Forsa for making all of this really, really cool tech that it knows their games when they're playing. It automatically updates on the score. It automatically updates on the time, the deaths. It knows when the match is over. It even automatically marks who won, although in this case it might mark the wrong person. But yeah, just these situations you can't really account for in it.
Yeah. And yeah, Consta knows that death doesn't count. It specifically says that if on the website, if you spawn under the map and die, it's not your fault.
Yeah. It is technically possible to avoid if you warp the instant you load in, but that's not something we're expecting players to do. You'd better warp frame perfectly, otherwise you lose the match, would be, a very bad way to go about it.
Great nightcap fight here.
Yeah, and this one is kind of a duo. You have to kill 2 full bosses in order to get credit for just the one. So he's got the Knight's Cav, he's got the Misbegotten, and I think there's also a Crystallian, that's walked down lower that he might not see yet. So it's actually kind of a trio boss that he got.
Good ghost.
Oh, very scary though. He just goes for the stagger. Does end up getting it, but low health. If he took one more hit, he would die, but... Oh, nice job cleaning it up from Consta. Oh, is that Bale there I see on Consta's screen? Oh, could be...
Great arena for him.
Yeah, not too bad. It does have a lot of space. There is a little bit of up and down unevenness to the arena, though, that he will have to be careful of, but... Hopefully, shouldn't be too bad.
Sorry, why did Mitch disappear?
Where did I go?
Sorry.
What did you do to me? What did you do to me?
Actually, I don't know why that happened. Weird. No, the fist against Bale, like, listen, take it from someone who's fought Bale so many times with the tiny little dagger or fist. This is just not... I mean, it's obviously good still, but the range just makes it so difficult and you miss so much.
Yeah, it's a lot harder, especially to get the headshots. So what he's doing is instead trying to hit him in the leg. He does still take extra damage in that leg, not as much as a headshot, but enough that you can get a good. Ooh, but the stagger, he's not going to get through a post because Bale has hidden his head inside of a rock. So not as much damage as he could have gotten there. And now Jeff is coming up on Bale as well. Yeah, phase transition. Jeff just starting the fight. He's on Torrent, which is good for dodging these fireballs. And I expect he's going to use dismount iframes as Bale is flying in. Very nice. So clean phase transition. Now just has to be worried about the second phase. The moves do get scarier in the second phase. They've got extra follow-ups. They've got extra explosions. There's some brand new moves that can be very scary, such as this one with the giant explosion. And then he's going to jump over the follow-up, hit him in the head.
Very
huge.
Good.
Jeff getting a little comboed by lightning, though. Has to be careful. Okay, now they're back up to full health. Both.
Double Bale.
They're both just hitting him. Cinema. Okay, Consta gets the kill first. Very nice, but Jeff is kind of catching up on time. Has to be worried about this explosion.
Ooh.
Okay, he did get out. I thought he might have gotten caught there. Ooh. Getting hit by some of these lightning strikes. Honestly, not the worst thing, because you end up on the ground as Bale flies in and you can easily dodge it. Oh, but Bale is now kind of stuck above him. Okay, comes back down. Hits him to half health, though. He's not healing. Jeff, please heal. You're scaring me. Okay, there we go. Another phase transition, though. Very unfortunate move to see. Big explosion. Is able to tank through it. Okay, luckily does not do the full flying around this time. Jeff, please heal. Please heal. Please heal. Please. Jeff. Okay, he got the stagger. He'll be fine. He'll be fine from here.
Oh my god, this is insane. This whole game has actually just... I said it before, this took years off my life, man. This has been so stressful the whole time.
It is continuing to take years off. I think we may drop dead before the end of this match. All of our years will be gone.
This is horrible. You know what? Starfist is a great weapon, but I don't know if the Starfist can balance out the cursedness of the seed.
Yeah, it's definitely a seed that favors the more consistent, less risky play, and we have seen that so far. That Consta, who has not been quite as fast, is in the lead right now just because of safer play that has prevented him from dying. They did both get one death to a boss, but then Jeff has also had that one gravity fall death, whereas Consta had a bugged death that did not count.
Yeah, so with 3 to 4 minutes left in this game, the overlay, just a reminder, is wrong. Consta actually only has 1 valid death, and Jeff has 2 valid deaths, so Jeff's score should be locked at 7. So the only way for Jeff to come back into this is if Consta dies once. I am going to go ahead and assume that with the time left and with the boss choices left, I don't think Consta can beat Jeff in score. But I do think that, the only way for Jeff to win this is if Consta dies once.
Yeah, I would say that is a very, very solid assumption. Even if he could get to 73, which maybe is possible. A boss per minute is outside possible if you got perfect bosses. He would not be able to get 5. That's out of the question. So it really does come down to if Consta plays it safe at the end, he wins. But if he takes any risk and dies, he loses. It is really just down to this. 3 minutes to live or die.
And this really is a perfect example of a risky, aggressive player versus a consistent and safe player. Jeff was faster. Jeff got more kills on the board. Oh my god. He has a higher score. But he made some risky choices, and because of that, he died once. And, Consta's score is lower, but also he also died once. He didn't die twice, though. And so this is just the difference. And it's cool to see.
Yeah, it really comes down to that.
Yeah, I'm glad that we had such different types of player styles.
Yeah, It's been a very fun match to watch. It's one that we thought would be, you know, oh no, there's a death early, like this might really determine it, but it has stayed within the realm of possibility the entire match. And Consta has had a lot of close calls that have almost led to deaths. Fia's could be one of those as well, but the scaling is pretty low, so he seems to be fine here. Jeff, in the meantime, made it through the butterflies in the tiny cave from Romina that also almost killed Consta. That was one that could have swapped the entire match. And Jeff gets that nice Romina kill. All right.
Super nice, yeah.
Now, where will Consta go now? Here is a big decision. If he tries to go for the easier over to Hughes and to the cave, those are fairly safe. If he tries to go for the Bell-Bearing Hunter, trying to say, I think that's the fastest boss I can get to, that's Dragon Barrow scaled. That is very, very possible to die. So we'll see what he goes for. It looks like he's going for the Bell-Bearing Hunter. This is the riskiest possible play he could make at the final minute.
Yeah.
With just over 1 minute left, if he dies to this boss, he loses. If he lives, doesn't have to kill it. If he just lives, he wins. But he is taking the risk. Final minute. He thinks he needs it. He knows that he's got a death and only a score of 70, which he knows Jeff can beat a score of 70, so he's taking the risk. He does not know. This is the worst play he could make.
Jeff is officially done with a score locked at 7 for now. Consta does have 48 seconds left to do something with this boss. It is a Deathbird.
Deathbird does
Deathbird.
get hit early. Please heal. Please heal Consta. Consta, just stay at full health. This is high scaling. He's trying to go for the big hits to try to risk out one more. He gets pecked. He's so low. Please heal. Please heal. Or Consta, please, 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 please. Okay, gets the stagger. He should be fine. Heal before the repose. No, okay, he's gonna kill it. He's gonna kill it. He's got it.
Oh my gosh, that was insanely close.
He really took that down to the last hit.
Wow.
If that one peck had just clipped him, which was very possible, that would have been a death and the entire match would have flipped with 30 seconds left. But he lives, he maintains his one death, and Consta comes out the victor.
Wow, what an insane game. That was crazy. That was incredibly fun, honestly. Again, we just said it, but I loved the different playstyles. I thought that was so cool to see. I loved seeing the aggressive. It kept us on our toes. I loved seeing, Consta played very consistently and very, very clean fights. And that was insane. That was seriously insane.
Yeah, that was the closest match that you could possibly have from the most lopsided start you could possibly have. Like, it really all caught up. It really all was down to the very last 30 seconds. Absolutely cinema match. What can you say?
Yeah, and we do need to just clarify that the overlay is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be clear, I have their chats here just because that's how this website works, and it looks like we just need to make sure that they know that. Terrifying. A lot of terrifying deaths, an extremely cursed seed, and like at the end of the day, we had, I guess 2 valid deaths, like 2 deaths that are relevant to the seed RNG, and that's more than we often see. So like, and it just a really cursed seed, a really cursed game. But the players played well. I'm sure they're exhausted after that.
I'm exhausted just watching it, so I cannot imagine how exhausted they are.
Jeff's first death wasn't, like, Mitch, you could maybe explain this better. Why does Jeff's first death not count as a bug? Because it wasn't a bug, but like...
Yeah, like it is not a bug because that is the way that fall damage works in Elden Ring. You have to stand on specific spots in order for torrent to count as having touched ground and obtain stable ground. It is consistent. If you always walked the exact same way, you would always get the exact same result. So Jeff, looked like he was walking on rocks, but according to the game and how the physics of the game works, he was not. He was standing on air, basically. It's really weird, you could call that a bug, but it's a consistent bug. It's something that players need to know and need to play around because it works the same every time. as opposed to the game crashing at random and throwing you under the map, where there's no predicting that, there's no consistency, you know, there's nothing you can do about crashing. There is something you can do about stable ground positions. You have to learn the exact spots you need to stand.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure if you go onto the website on the DRL rules, it actually specifically calls out if you die to being put under the map and you fall and die, that does not count. I'm pretty sure it actually says that. So there you go. Forsa will confirm when he finishes his match, which is about halfway through, I think, at this point. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that we're all on the same page here. Let me pay out this prediction. Consta did end up winning. And that was a fantastic match. Thank you, Mitch, so much for joining me for commentary. This was a lot of fun. And
yeah, thanks for having me again for a second time. I love to do it. And yeah, especially commentating with you, it's so much fun, Parky. Thank you specifically for having me and
I think we make
making such a fun commentary.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, thank you, Mitch. You too. I feel like I have some gaps in my commentary that I think you fill in perfectly, so I think this is fantastic. Anyway, chat, I don't know if this is my final commentary. It just depends on how long this league goes. I will be away for a week and 2 days, so this will be my last commentary at least for the next 8 days. So if this is my final commentary session, thank you so much to Forsa for having me. It's been an honor. It introduced me to a whole bunch of new streamers and a bunch of new chatters. And just like I've never been an official commentator for something. This has been really, really exciting for me and such an honor that I was invited to. So Forza, thank you very much. And again, thank you to Mitch and all my co-commentators for helping me out with this. And that's it for Elden Ring DRL today. Mitch, I will be leaving this call. Thank you again, and we will see you later. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks. You too. Bye-bye.
Everyone go check out Mitch, by the way. I know a lot of you guys like the commentary. Mitch absolutely deserves a shout out. He's just like this on his own stream. If you're interested in what he had to offer today, go check him out at Mitch Riz everywhere. Anything specific you want to shout out, Mitch?
No, just shout outs to Forsa for hosting this league. It's been incredible, and thank you again, Parky, for having me. I hope you get to do more commentary for this league. I hope it works out, and I hope that you'll maybe invite me back for a third time. Chris is probably going to steal it. It's going to be Chris. I know it. I know it's going to be Chris.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Mitch, see you later, dude.
Bye-bye.